Another Columbia University student has been arrested for his activism against the war in Gaza. The Palestinian, who's a permanent resident in the U.S., is facing deportation. Kristen Saloomey reports from New York.
Mohsen Mahdawi, an outspoken leader of Columbia University's student protest movement in its early days, is now the latest student activist to face deportation. A legal permanent resident of the United States, he was taken into custody when he showed up at a Vermont immigration office to be interviewed for his citizenship application. His lawyer tells Al Jazeera that she's been given no confirmation of his whereabouts. Mahdawi, who grew up in the West Bank, spoke to Al Jazeera in the early days of the student movement and described previous attempts to intimidate him for his activism.
A counter-protester comes towards me out of the crowd and he calls me by name and he said, "Mohsen Mahdawi, I'm going to take your life, I'm going to kill you." And I smiled at him and I said, "What are you afraid of, the truth?"
Mahdawi was targeted online by hardline pro-Israel groups calling for his deportation. According to court filings, the government appears to be using the same rationale it did to arrest Mahmoud Khalil and others, an obscure law that gives the Secretary of State the power to deport anyone deemed a threat to U.S. foreign policy interests. His lawyer has already filed a petition challenging the legality of the detention, alleging the government was violating his statutory and due process rights. The Trump administration detained Mohsen Mahdawi in direct retaliation for his advocacy on behalf of Palestinians, said lawyer Lena Druby, and because of his identity as a Palestinian. His detention is an attempt to speak to those who speak out against atrocities in Gaza. It is unconstitutional. According to the website Higher Education, more than 1,000 students at 170 colleges and universities have now had their student visa revoked by the State Department. 7 of them, like Mahdawi, from Columbia. Kristen Saloomey, Al Jazeera, New York.
Well, Claire Finkelstein is a professor of national security law at the University of Pennsylvania Law School. She says it's unclear whether Mohsen Mahdawi will be deported, as lawyers have filed papers to block the process.
His lawyers immediately filed to say that he should not be removed from the jurisdiction. This was in Vermont. He appeared for a citizenship interview. He has been a green card holder since 2015. So this is not just someone who was on a student visa, but actually a green card holder. And when he showed up for his interview, he was then arrested and they began the deportation proceedings. The judge in this case granted the temporary restraining order and said he should not be removed from the jurisdiction. His lawyers also filed a petition for habeas corpus, which is a federal right that says you need to bring the person being detained into a federal court to show us the body, show us that you have this person, and explain yourselves. We do not know, as of right now, to the best of my knowledge, whether or not the deportation is proceeding and whether or not the administration is actually going to listen to the court order.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.